Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. A guest who comes back is a guest for life. That's what we say on here. And Freya is someone that has been on before, but I needed to get her back because she's made so much new music since the last time you were on. So now, just sit back, relax, enjoy the next few seconds with the dancing cat, etc. And then we will be catching up with Freya to find out what she's been up to in the last year or two.
Keep on! Don't stop! Keep on! Don't stop! Keep on! Don't stop!
Freya, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you.
It always surprises me sometimes when I sit down and I sometimes go back and I have a look over some of the previous episodes of this, and I realise just how long ago some of them were. You've done so much since you last were on. In fact, you got to, not only have you released more music yourself, etc., you've got to play some amazing places with some amazing people as well. Do you want to tell us about some of those amazing opportunities you've had?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, I had the opportunity to go on tour with Dr. John Cooper Clarke as a poet. So that was sort of a new area kind of still for me. But being able to visit all these different places around the country, it was just so interesting, and just the people you meet as well. Like even just gigging in general with music, obviously you meet new people, but I think it's so nice to be able to expand like this area of my interest and meet like-minded people, even if they come up to me after the poetry show and say like, I really enjoyed your set, like I'm starting out, da 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 da. It's just really inspiring. But I think also, well, just one, to be on tour with John, I think that's just another sort of ball game. And to be able to play or perform at these like incredible, like iconic venues, you know, the Palladium and even the Co-op Arena, like an arena, which is just mad. He's the first poet to headline an arena. So to be part of that history in poetry as well, it's huge. So yeah, it's been amazing, honestly. Like it's been really, really inspiring. Because like I'm sure like I touched upon this like in our previous interview, but like poetry is such a huge part of me as an artist, yeah, but just me in general. Like I grew up loving like writing and just escaping to like another world. Yeah, so yeah.
Do you ever feel like people don't necessarily take you seriously as a poet because you are a musician as well?
You definitely get those people out there. Like, fortunately, I haven't really come across any of that because it's been very welcoming personally. Because it's like I was saying about after the shows, like people would come up to me and like, you know, give like positive feedback. And it's just really nice because it takes a lot to go up to someone and just like compliment them. It's so easy just to watch the show and then just bugger off home. But like when like people actually think like, oh, I'm gonna speak to her and tell her this and that, it's just really nice. But yeah, I think like you were saying, not every artist or like musician is a poet. I think poetry comes from obviously an element in your writing in the song. I think it's like certain words, just like wordplay. Because I mean, anyone could write a song at the end of the day. The simplest song, the world's like most basic song. Whereas like for me, as an example, I would say instead of saying like, "Oh, you're breaking my heart," I would say like, "I'm a rose and like the petals have fallen." You know, you would just give more imagery to your words rather than just like point blank for the listener.
I
But
think
yeah,
like all things, I think you can learn it as an art as well. And I think you can develop it as an art.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're not born a writer, a musician. You learn the craft. Like, that's what you've sort of got to realize. Like, yeah, you can have a gift, but you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So with poetry, I only started like getting into poetry because I discovered poets and that world, and I like educated myself on that. So that's how I adapted that into my songwriting.
I think some people have more of a gift on the word side of things than others, more naturally, or because it's more of a fascination for them earlier on, and then it's perhaps easier for them to develop that side of things. But I think I've seen some great singer-songwriters who have kind of developed the art as they've gone along. Actually, Steve Hogarth from Marillion, because he was taking over from a guy called Fish. I don't know whether you know the history of Marillion, but Fish was very, very good as a wordsmith. He wrote very very sort of deep lyrics that were very sort of both poetic and imagery driven, etc. And when Steve took over as the singer in the band and then had to start writing as well, I mean, initially he wrote with someone else, I think, to more than anything to kind of learn the craft. There was a transition period where he was learning to be more poetic in himself. I think he probably seeing himself as quite a good poet now. When you were at school, were you always like teachers amazed by your poetry? Some people's poetry at school is rubbish.
I mean, at school, because that's like, I wasn't academic at school. So like when it came to English, I did struggle. So I think finding my own way and sort of weaving in between different like areas of like writing, like literature, I found my space. I don't really know what, like, yeah,
Did they not give you that? Did they not give you the space for like creative poetry and stuff at school? Or
not really, no. No. If you're not in this category, then you're literally pushed aside, which, you know, like looking back at school, it's like quite not depressing, but it's just quite sad that, you know, you would be dismissed if you're not of a certain like caliber or whatever. Like even with maths and like science, it's like the 3 academic subjects. Whereas with music, I mean, even now, music in school, like that wasn't there like a whole thing about them taking it off. Like that's just, it's just mad. I think you should always have a creative, I don't know what the word is, like just have the opportunity to be, or the opportunity to explore different creative outlets.
I agree. I think just because something doesn't necessarily end up or naturally lead to a career that is deemed to be a worthwhile career, doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't have an opportunity for artistic expression and whatever, and learning to develop that. Because otherwise, what we end up with is a whole load of people that are great at you know, doing admin and administration and all of this sort of thing, but with no kind of creative flair at all in it. You know, nobody will ever think outside the box, right?
Exactly.
Because
of course,
you know, oh, you do it like this, right? Whereas, you know, developing creative thinking helps anybody to go, oh, there could be a different way of doing this, or there could, you know, or we could just make it more fun, you know.
Instead of being taught it like from a book, like I'm a very visual person, so being shown it like will activate people's like, you know, like creative thinking that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you there. Just realised it's raining here now. We've had quite a nice sunny day here.
Oh,
up until this point, and now it's suddenly decided to rain. I hope wherever you are in the world listening to this moment, I hope it's at least quite a pleasant day. If it's raining outside, which it may be when people are listening to this, well, all the more reason to be here listening to us than anything else. What did you learn from John?
I've learned a lot from him, but one thing is like he sort of he has a script every night and he sticks to his script. You get like the odd heckler in the audience, but he's literally just like he doesn't acknowledge it because you can just see he's in his zone. He's owning the stage. Like it's literally, well, you paid to see me, so you know, shut up and listen. But also John's just quite a funny guy because there's certain things like if his manager Phil Jones doesn't want him to like say a poem, he kind of just says it just because like he wants to, but not in like a arsey way. It's just I think because he's so used to like performing his poetry like that script every night, he just sticks to his guns. But yeah, he's a really interesting guy. He's really nice, really lovely guy. But yeah, I mean, I would say that.
So for him, that script is like he's worked out the flow.
Yes,
right?
the flow.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed with poets is that you've got to have a flow, whether that's like a rhythm to your words as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it's quite interesting. So is that a little bit like, you know, if you play music, for example, if you start off with something big, you need to do sort of like one or two big songs, and then you might bring it down, and then you might bring it up a little bit, and then you might take it right down, and then you on a crescendo, if you like, you then bring it right back up bombastic at the end. That exactly. Flow is kind of, you know, no one would expect ordinarily, unless it's like a really sort of quiet acoustic set or whatever. No one would expect it to just tail off towards the end or whatever. You'd expect it to be, you know, sort of more of something at the end, so that people go out euphoric. And I guess it's the same even when you're doing it with words. You need to keep people's attention there.
Exactly, yeah. Yes to obviously like sticking to the script and all, but these people have also, you know, taken time out to come to the show. So you want to give them a good show, entertain them, whatever. So, and also make it fun for yourself. Because otherwise, if you're just reading it, it's just you're reading it. Like anyone could read a book out loud. Whereas if you find a distinctive way of saying your words or like emphasizing each one or whatever, it just makes it that more interesting as well each night.
Yeah. No, I quite like it when people deliberately sort of pronounce a word in a way that you think, oh, that's not how you say that. Exactly. But it makes you think of it a little bit more. And maybe if they just do it for like the first stanza and then not in the second, you think, oh, they deliberately did it then, just to grab my attention in the first bit. It's clever stuff. What about the music side of things? Because you've continued to release music as well, and you've got a new song out at the moment, which is fabulous.
Thank you.
Bonsoir. Why the French?
The French title is more of an ode to my teenage years, like growing up. Other than obviously discovering like poets and French poets, I just loved sort of doing my research on just like film history. So when I discovered like French New Wave films, like Brigitte Bardot, Jean-Luc Godard, Anna Karina, I was just like, it's just so, for me, so romantic. That time, like the 60s, even though there was a lot going on, obviously, in the 60s, like just like the imagery and just the color palettes. I love a good color palette in a film. It's just very inspiring, but especially just as a teenager, you know, I guess I still am very much an introvert. I do enjoy my own company. So I think that time as a teen, just discovering different directors and like watching documentaries on them, it was just really inspiring, and it definitely reflected in my music because I had a moment where I wrote a song in French, whether it's like grammatically correct, I don't know, but it was sort of just like being like, oh, just sort of romanticizing your life a bit,
Yeah.
you know? And even like the fashion in the 60s, I loved. Um, but yeah, so that was sort of my ode to my teens, or that influence, because I haven't touched upon that at all in my music. So yeah, I felt like this was a good time to do that.
Does feel like a slightly softer side to your music as well. Do you feel like you're happier to show a more vulnerable side of yourself now, as you get a little bit older?
Yeah, definitely, because I think it just comes along with like confidence and just being like, you know what, I don't really care what you think. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Um, so with Bonsoir, like it's definitely a romantic song. It's about romance, and I've never done that. Never written a romantic song in my music. It's been very like, I don't know, quite, I want to say like defensive in a way. Like I'm talking about past experiences in my previous stuff, but like showing that I'm strong and not trying to prove a point, but also kind of trying to prove a point. Whereas with Bonsoir, it was just more like, this is nice. This is a nice world I've created. And I know people can relate to it because it is about relationships and, falling in love and just sort of experiencing that sort of euphoria of the first few months of being in a relationship and stuff. Yeah.
When you start writing songs like that, though, do you find like people are then generally interested in asking you about who's it about and who have you fallen in love with, and are you all loved up now and stuff like that, or have people taken it that to be kind of more of the open aspect of the fact that you are now in that more romantically or that more comfortable place with yourself?
Yeah, I think, that rather than someone being like, oh, so who's it about? Like, da da da. I haven't really had many of those questions like throughout my sort of music career. So I think it's more of, this is my romantic era, kind of.
It's an
The
era.
new romantic. um, yeah.
It's nice. Do you feel like you're going to stay in this era for a while now then, or do you feel like at some point you'll surprise us and do something reactionary to this then?
I mean, never say never. Like my sort of, in my brain is sort of all over the place. I have so many ideas, and even like thinking of how can I tie in country music, because I love country music, and it's just like I just have a lot going on. So like at the moment with Bonsoir, for me personally, even visually, like my brand has become clearer. Because I mean, the last time I spoke to you was May last year, and that time I was really into the world of goth, but not like your stereotypical goth, more of just like doing your own thing. But I don't know, it was just, I'm going through different eras.
Yeah.
And I think with Bonsoir as well, I feel like
There was
this.
definitely more of a wall there, look wise, and
Yes.
yeah.
And that was fine because that's who I wanted to be then. Whereas now I'm not, I'm not an intimidating person. I'm very chatty, So I want the listener and whoever the followers to see that I am like you. And, I don't know, I just want to.
But it sounds like what you don't want to do is become a pastiche of yourself. So when you say, "Oh, I'm thinking about how could I get like country in here?" What you don't want to do is suddenly like, "Oh, yeah, come out country," and whatever, and people go, "Hang on, I can't relate to
Yeah,
this."
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. It would have
So
to be your version of country.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's sort of figuring out, like, along my musical journey, just how I can tie in all my other influences rather than just staying in one area, one category. So when I was saying about country, like just like the slightest influence, you know, like Dolly Parton, her writing, like that to me is, you know, touching upon the world of country. But yeah.
Would you do that? I mean, actually, that's quite an interesting point that you just raised. And I've seen a number of artists do that more recently when they've wanted to go over into something a little bit more country, for example.
Mm.
The easiest way of doing it for them would be to maybe collaborate with someone that's more in that field.
Right.
Because by association, you have the authenticity to be in that field, but you can sort of like port yourself into that. Is that something you would consider? Like, and if so, who would you write a country song with?
I mean, obviously Dolly Parton. Obviously. I mean, Dolly's always been my number one influence, even before I started releasing like rock music. So like when I first started putting out music, I was probably like 13 and I recorded a bunch of demos in my local recording studio. And you wouldn't even recognize like me because my voice was so high. I sang like falsetto. But that's how I wanted to sing because it was like country. And I actually, like thinking about it, one of my songs, which was called Trust You, it was featured in, because you're in the South, right? You're in Devon. It was featured in the Bournemouth Echo because I just like sent it to them and they did a little like write-up about it. And I was like, what, 14? But that was sort of my debut as country. So it's not like being like, oh, today I'm going to be a country star. Like I've always like wanted, like deep down, like it's just like that person.
Well, now listen, I think that at the point where you do release your country song, I think you need to get in touch with the Bournemouth Echo and see if you can get that from the archives and use that as some of the artwork. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I have it somewhere. I'm sure I have it somewhere. But yeah, just thought of that. Yeah.
How old were you?
Either 13 or 14.
I think that could really work. I feel that could really work. Well, listen, we you know, if anyone's listening and they do know Dolly, we should definitely make that happen. I feel that, you know, Dolly, Freya, I think it should be it.
And plus Dolly Parton's already released like a rock album. So it's not like far from her, like, you know, her reach. So like it would be a good collaboration.
I feel like Dolly could do anything, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a little powerhouse of, you know, and she's just like stayed with it and on it as well, you know.
Definitely.
She's very astute. I feel like knows where to be seen with her voice these days as well, just to be in the right areas.
There's a really good BBC documentary about Dolly. I don't know if it's on Netflix still, but it was really interesting because even just how she like reacts to like audiences or just, you know, like sexist, like whatever presenters back in the 60s, you know, she sort of just take the mick. She just knows how to like just respond. I don't know whether that's because of like training, because, you know, you do like press training or whatever, but I don't think it is. I think she's just incredibly like strong-headed.
And quick.
And quick, yeah.
No, I think she is probably just very mentally astute, very clever woman. And it comes across in her music. I mean, she's one of the only female singers, I would say, who would, you know, who's duetted with some very manly men over the years, but has held like that position on stage really well with them. Do you know what I mean? Like not look like the weaker of the two.
No.
And that's hard, you know. That's really hard, especially in a music scene like country as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because
You know,
I don't know. Would you say it's quite male-dominated country?
I'd say it's quite misogynistic, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, oh yeah.
So I'd say, you know, it's no. I'd say that would be a great thing. We'd all want to hear that, Freya. So if anyone does know Polly, let's make that happen. What are you doing for the rest of the year?
The rest of the year, I am back in the studio in November to do a lot of recording. Yes, yeah.
I can't get any more, but it's a lot of recording. And what's that towards? An EP or another album or?
Well, another album. Because I released my debut album Beast in 2021, and that's 4 years ago, and I think that's mad how quickly just time's gone by. But it also feels right because next year depends when I release it, but next year would be 5 years since my debut, and it just feels right.
Yeah.
Release an album. But yeah.
Some people seem to release them too quickly these days, don't they?
Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, I mean, we've discussed that a few times on here. That I almost feel, and certain other artists almost feel like, if you've got no time between one album and another, where's the life experience that you're living that then
exactly.
to put into that album? You know?
It just doesn't feel like genuine, like authentic.
Yeah. Probably isn't if you've got 71 people writing it for you.
True. Like how? I don't understand that. Like how does it take so many people? I don't know like how many songwriters, but it took say like 10 songwriters to write Baby by Justin Bieber. How? It just doesn't make
it literally would be something as stupid as like, yeah, and I think after that bit you need to go, yeah, literally. I think so too. And it will literally just be that, and they'll go, right, I need a writing credit.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
Not to what?
Any opportunity.
Anything like that. Yeah. It might even be that someone like just detuned something on the guitar or whatever and went, there you go. Yeah. That's it now. That's my writing credit. I don't know. Listen, it's been absolute fun talking to you again. Thank you so much for coming on again. And
thanks for having me again.
Hopefully we can push the spin-ins on Bonsoir. So listen, if you haven't listened to Freya's music yet, please do go and check it out now. Do say hello to her on Instagram, etc. as well. And we look forward to more new music coming out before the end of the year. Maybe by Christmas there might be something for you all to go and put in your stocking. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? You know, it's only, mind you, I mean, you haven't got long. It's about 90 days or something, isn't it, for Christmas now? Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everything's just going so fast. It really is. Thank you, Freya, for coming on today. And thank you for watching as well. Thanks to everybody that keeps supporting my music. I'm very, very grateful. For those that have noticed, I've just updated the website as well. So do go and have another look at that, mymusicpodcast.com. We will be back soon with more of this. But until then, from Freya and myself, thanks for listening today. Bye for now.